purpose of this short video is to explain the VisualBoss interface. So basically, this is what you're going to see constantly all the time. Once you start VisualBoss, as is mentioned in other videos, you just leave it alone. It refreshes its data. It does its thing without any interference from you, potentially. And so, unless you want to make changes. So in this case, here's a typical layout. The filtering for this display of the jobs, the part numbers, the operations that are currently active, we look here under the definitions in this box, current list. And here, if the work centers have been grouped, then you would see the group name here that you've created. So in this case, it's fabrication. So the idea here is perhaps you have a large display, a large TV monitor in the fabrication department, and the people in that department all can see the same screen. So it makes sense to lump all of those work centers together onto that screen. And if we look at the current list, it shows you, well, during the date periods that you're looking at, typically that would be from today to perhaps a week out or 2 weeks out, but you set all that, how big you want the window to be, the window of time. That's all in the configuration. But in this case, it's just reminding you, this is the date range that you're looking at. And in the fabrication department, all the work centers related to fabrication, within this date range, well, there are 65 operations that are listed as active. And the overall list is 32% done of all those different parts that are active. And the hours remaining are 34.5. Now, in the case that you've set up the criteria that defines level 1 interest jobs or level 2. Level 1 could be, these are the jobs that we have to focus on because they're due today or they're due within 2 days. Level 2 jobs might be, well, these are jobs that are due within 5 days. So we want to make sure we keep an eye on them. And so those groupings are automatically color-coded. Every time the data is refreshed, if you've done these operations, they've already been completed, they disappear from the list. That's what this data refresh is all about. So you set that up as a parameter that every minute, if you want, VisualBoss goes out to the JobBOSS database and refreshes with the latest information from the JobBOSS SQL database. It's done automatically. And so in this case, well, jobs that are due according to level 1, there's one of those. It's 73% done, and there's 0.1 hours remaining. Now level 2, which maybe are due within a few days, well, there are a total of 4 operations that fit that category. Overall, the group of them are 4% done, and there's 0.6 hours remaining. And so those are always changing automatically. Whenever the data refreshes, then if certain operations have been completed, they disappear from the list. If you've done all the level 1 jobs are in the work centers, they're out, they're completed, and even level 2 are done, then those things would be updated and nothing would be color-coded, and there'd be no operations identified as level 1 or level 2. Over to the right, this is also an option, but to try to personalize and get people's interest in the display, in what's happening, well, an option is to have some automatic picture files that automatically rotate it. So in this case, since this screen is dedicated to the fabrication department, well, I created a folder and put a bunch of photos that are related to fabrication and automatically flips through them. So they could be pictures of all of your different work centers in that department, and it just flips through there one at a time. And in the other picture box, well, to kind of have the employees vested in this interface, in getting the jobs out, well, you could have a folder that goes through your employees working in that department, etc. It's just done automatically. That option can be turned off and you don't see those photos but it's just something that we believe that the more you can get the workers invested in this, the more effective VisualBoss will be as a tool. And that's pretty much all we wanted to explain in this short video. And of course, I had disabled the auto scroll, so if we enable that, then according to the scroll rate that you selected, this list is always scrolling. It reaches the bottom of the scroll, hesitates for a minute so you can see what's at the bottom, then it will go back to the top, wait a few seconds so you can see what the first items are, and then just automatically start scrolling through again once again at the rate that you selected. So, and as this little graphic here shows, the VisualBoss artificial intelligence is always running, because it's always evaluating this data and highlighting things in the way that you think. You've basically taught VisualBoss the way to think, and it remembers that, and so it's always applying those algorithms.